Good morning, folks. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are today. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to SKTV Life, SKTV LIB. Welcome, and welcome. Today is Monday, the 8th of July, 2024. The time here is 11:16. It's 11:16 a.m. in Phoenix, Arizona. Joining us from Monrovia, Liberia is Milburn Johnson Kula. The rest of the team will be joining us. But folks, we have some very, very important and good things to talk about. Very, very important and good things to talk about. Let's share the show as you join us. Let us know where you are following us from. Plenty of news. Plenty of news. They turn very, very busy. They turn busy. And the show today will be very hot. We have a guest with us today, a lawmaker. There's some people we don't talk about a lot, but we'll follow their workings, we respect them, and they're cool people. So we'll bring the lawmaker on. Very interesting. The conversation today, you don't want to miss it. Share the show. Those of you joining us on the radio.
Yeah, man, please share the show now so that other people can get the light. Because mind you, though, sometimes some people they will say, "Oh, about SKTV camera, we don't know." So by the time you share, the person say, "Oh, good, at least I can now follow the show."
We have in studio today with us. We'll bring the representative on. I think this is his debut, his first time on SKTV. We'll bring him in a little bit. He's on time. He's been in studio. We have been having some technical issues in the back from our end to connect and to make sure we set up as always. But let's share the show, guys. Listen. The show will be very, very juicy. The show will be noisy. Let's share the show. My Liberian people, let's share the show. Before Milburn come in and give a quick update, folks, let's share the show on some real, no joke. Let's share the show. We have a lot of national and pressing issues. A lot. National and pressing issues that we'll be talking about today. And one of my favorite subjects, we'll talk about it today. But in the meantime, let's share the show. Share the show. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Let's share the show, guys. Please, let's share the show. I don't even know what's going on with me. I don't know what's going on today. I'm trying to even find a show on SKTV page. I can't even find a show. So I don't know what's going on. y'all will be fine. Y'all want to bring up behind this show that y'all lie. I can bring up behind this show. The show by the show set. Let's share the show. We follow our yellow machine, people. Our yellow machine will follow them. We follow our yellow machine. But let's share the show, folks. Good afternoon to you. Good evening. Good day. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. Let's share the show. Please, let's share the show. I am trying to also share the show. No more. While we are sharing the show from our end here, what say you? Let's give a quick update about what's going on in the country. What's up? Quick update. What's going on?
Well, so again, I want to say many thanks to our followers or our viewers. Again, today is Monday. Mind you, today is the 8th of July, and so many things happening. Sorry though for the quality. We are on the weather. So yes, Steve, I'm gradually moving, and the weather is really taking me away. But I'm still fighting hard to make sure that I get myself on track. So again, my brother, so many things happening, reaching from the latest news that we are getting that the former minister of the Republic of Liberia has resigned. That the latest news first before we go to some of the news that have been making headway throughout the week. So we're hearing that Mr. Buema Kamara reportedly resigns as head of the Ministry of Finance. That's the information that we're getting. So again, the president is back home after his few time in Nigeria. He arrived on yesterday after all of the time spent so on, but he came back happy, hefty, and everything. So throughout the week, there was so many things happening with the yellow machines, Wahala. The lawmakers, some Liberians, with their own views about which or who are those people that are responsible for these machines. How come these machines are in country and people don't know who sent the machine in and what was the agreement? So there are some mixed reactions. Some Liberians are saying that no, at least we are happy that machines are here for development and so on. But again, people are giving their own view. Steve, send them all of this talking, holding and pulling, keep going through our media, our landscape, especially in the social media. People are giving their own feedback when it comes to that. So again, quickly before I take leave with the latest one coming from one of our prophets on yesterday evening. Uh, there was this video that surfaced on the internet about the prophets sending Kwa or in fact sending some uh, uh, bad message out there to the people that were once upon a time that were maybe criticizing or maybe that were sharing his video, his yeah daddy video, that indeed they're going to be, in fact, they will get Goa and there will be accidents and so on. And there are mixed reaction to that. People are heavily criticizing the prophet for that, prophet from the Flaming Fire Church, who usually be called Yes Daddy. So far so good, Steve, because my voice is going, and I don't want it to go completely. So these are some of the major things that are happening back home in Liberia.
So you say yes, Daddy resurfaced. You say yes, Daddy resurfaced, and this time he surfaced with what? With cursing, he cursing all of us, everybody
Yes,
that well,
yes, yes. Daddy is not sending out. I don't know. It's a curse or swear or someone we want to say. Daddy is not swear all of the people who send in, or maybe those videos, or maybe or that was sharing the video according to him, that in fact they will get Koa and someone else will make accidents.
well, tell yes, Daddy said we'll be reaching out to the Council of Churches. And thank God the lawmaker here will also ask him what is going on because some people won't kill their citizen. You hear me? But we'll bring the lawmaker on, folks. Let's share the show, folks, please. We have tons of things to talk about. Let's share the show. Honorable Thomas Goshua, welcome to SKTV. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I hope I pronounced your name well so I'm not held in contempt.
No, it's Goshua. You're right.
All right, welcome. And I believe you're from Grand Bassa.
Yeah, I represent District 5, Grand Bassa County.
District 5, Grand Bassa County. Good to have you on. Let me bring in one of our panelists really quick. And quickly, can you please introduce yourself to our audience, considering it's your first time here, please?
My name is Thomas Alexander Goshua II. I represent District 5, Grand Bassa County. This is my second term representing the district. And currently, I chair the Committee on Drugs, Rehabilitation, and Reintegration. I also co-chair the Committee on Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. I'm a member of the Maritime Committee and the Telecommunications Committee and the State-Owned Enterprise Committee. And I just want to be appreciative and thank you for the opportunity for me to participate on your platform tonight.
Thank you so much, Representative Goshua. We appreciate you in making time to speak to us, both in the diaspora and back home. Monk, welcome to the show. We have a honorable man in studio. We're going to get started a conversation. What say you?
Well, welcome to SKTV. Even though most of
Thank
your
you.
colleagues found it difficult to come here, I mean, you were able to muster the courage to come on SKTV, and we are glad to have you here. You can rest assured you are in good hands and you are on the best platform, in my view. I'm not saying it because I'm on SKTV, but rest assured that the needful question will be asked, and we hope we get the timely and orderly response from you, including that
Okay.
of our audiences from the diaspora, Liberia, and the rest of the world as well. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, honorable. Let's start up. Let's get our feet wet here. Let's get started with the conversation. How's the people at Grand Bassa and what's going on? You know, it's been a while since someone else swallowed Domo. You know, what's going on? How do people at Grand Bassa, how everything?
Um, Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so Grand Bassa is calm. I represent one of the least developed districts in Bassa. Um, Currently, we don't have a high school. We have two junior highs, which we were able to lobby with the Ministry of Education, and currently they are completing one, raising it to a full-fledged high school, and the second one will be worked on in subsequent time. Um, we the district is a very large one, and health issue is a problem. And we have four health facilities that are inadequately uh, manned by the Ministry of Health, poor sanitation, and a lot. I wouldn't have to say everything because um, we know when we say an interior district that is one of the least developing Liberia, we know exactly how it is. But we've been doing all that we can to be a better representation of our people. Things were not always rosy, but thankfully, through the special grace of God, we've been afforded another opportunity to continue to do what we started to do in the district. And so some of our work were doing roads, building a bigger and better health facility in the district. We're able to work with all of the health centers in providing essential drugs on a quarterly basis. And we've been able to work along with colleagues in the county to decide on developmental projects that will ease the life of our people. Um, those are some of the things that we've been doing, and our people felt grateful and satisfied and asked us that we should be retained to continue those things that we're doing.
Okay.
And on the national scene, we've been able to see how we could lobby and work with our colleagues. The issue of drugs in Liberia is something that we thought we could passionately advocate for because those of us that are in our prime currently, um, we are seeing how it is, and we thought that the issue of drugs targets our young people. And so we often say the young people are the future leaders of Liberia. And so if drug targets the young people, it means that the future of Liberia is being targeted. And so we thought to see how we could make a case. And first thing that we were able to achieve was the love of our colleagues in amending the the drug law that today we have an amended drug law of 2024, 2023, and and that law speaks to harsher punishment, giving more teeth to the LDA to bite and fight the crime, and also being able to afford opportunities for rehabilitation of our young people that are going through their phase. But it's a very serious thing in Liberia that I think every well-meaning citizen need to get involved with. According to one of the UN reports from 2022, it states that a fifth of Liberia's population is hooked on drugs. They are using drugs. Mathematically, if you put it together, Liberia has a population of approximately 5.5 million people. A fifth of that is around 20%. We're talking about 1.1 million people in Liberia that are using drugs. It's very disheartening. It's scary. And I think it's about time that not only government should be able to raise the awareness to see how we can fight drugs. In 1990, it took less than 40,000 persons to bring war to Liberia, to wreak havoc, cause mayhem and total destruction to our country. That even today we are still struggling to see how we can be able to come out of this. Unfortunately for us, and the condition that it gave to bringing war to us was that they were disadvantaged. They felt disgruntled. The manner in which things were going in the country, they weren't happy. We have a little over 1.1 million people that are disadvantaged, whose conditions are even worse than the less than 40,000 persons that brought war to Liberia. 1.1 million people is like a ticket time bomb. And so all of us needs to get involved to see how we can fight this menace, be a hope to the future leader of Liberia. Because we say if care isn't taken, there will be no future for the future leaders to lead.
Okay. Um, Thank you so much for focusing on a couple of things that you talked about here today, folks. If you're just joining us, we are in conversation here with Representative Thomas Goshua from um, Grand Bassa County, District Number 5. Um, I mean, we'll get into the politics, we'll talk about different things, but he solely wants to focus on his agenda for which he was reelected for the Liberian people at large. Speaking of what's going on in the country in terms of drugs and so forth, President Joseph Yuma Boakai, one of the things he campaigned on was the issue of Kush. In fact,
Yeah.
as evidenced by that, he there's a music accused former President George Weah allegedly of being the one to bring drugs in the country to introduce, let's use the word Kush. So my question to you, how far is President Joseph Yuma Boakai's agenda vis-a-vis what you have to do in your role in the House based on what you stated? How far is that agenda? We've gone 6 months now, almost 6 months or so. How far is that?
Well, when I discussing the issue of drugs, I be so passionate about it because too many young people are on drugs, and what we are seeing uh, is I think it's just lip service to the issue of fighting drugs in Liberia. The president, during the State of the Nation address in January, declared drugs as a public health emergency. He didn't stop there. He named a committee, a steering committee that will look at the issues of fighting drugs. And after the naming, we were hoping that the fact that the president has already set up this committee, when the budget is brought to the legislature, we will see actually a public health emergency being addressed in the national budget. Unfortunately, when the budget came, we had around 325,000 in a code, uh, Kush must go, 325,000. The amount allocated for the LDA was $2 million. Out of that 2 million, 1.5 million was solely for salary payments. Then you have 500,000 for the Kush must go and intelligence gathering for the LTEA. I don't think that amount spoke to fighting the war on drugs. Focus and emphasis were placed on rehabilitation to construct rehabilitation centers. And around there, we had another 500,000 placed under the Ministry of Health for rehabilitation purposes. And then there was a program being drawn that there must be a new rehabilitation built for the government to address the at-risk youth,
Mhm.
and approximately around $1.3 million. To my knowledge, as far as I'm concerned, that is the amount that we have to fight drugs in Liberia. If you look at the World Drugs Day pronouncement that were made, the theme for this year is the evidence is clear. Let's invest in prevention. And I feel that whoever came up with that theme was speaking directly to Liberia. The issue of drugs in Liberia, the evidence is clear. You see it in the street every day, everywhere. Another report that came up sometime last week, it says that every day, at least 5 persons, 5 young persons died from the use of drugs every day. And so I think as a government, we need to take this serious. Taking it serious in a sense that it is our future that is being threatened. Our future as a country is being threatened, and we need to put all our resources to safeguard our future as a nation. And I don't think much is being done when
Okay.
it comes to allocating resources for that fight.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just before we go to Monk for his side of the questioning here, you, like you said, you sound very passionate about what you're doing. You've said so far it's been lip service from the government. What are your expectations of the government, considering it's been 6 months? Someone would say, the government just took over. Yes, the president's priority is to fight drugs and so forth. But what are your expectations, and how are you ensuring, as a lawmaker in charge of, ensuring that we combat the issue of drugs and addiction in our country? Um, what are your expectations of the government, and how do you intend to ensure that monies are allocated to ensure that the issue of substance abuse, drug, and so forth is fought in our country to the highest level?
Okay, so one of the things that we were able to do, because like I said, we are passionate about this. We spoke at the level of the legislature. We raised the issue of narcotic substances, and we made it clear to our colleagues how this thing affects all of us. Currently, there is practically no home in Liberia now that is not being affected by the use and abuse of narcotic substances. And so when we made a case with the speaker, at that point in time, the president had declared war on drugs, making a national health emergency. Through the magnanimity of the speaker and the leadership of the House of Representatives, a committee was established. And based on the importance of the drug issue in Liberia, that committee was raised to a statutory committee.
Hmm.
And I was named as the chairperson. And so, since our chairmanship, and the committees were being fully formed. We decided to engage first the steering committee that comprises of 7 uh, entities from the executive, and we thought to have a meeting of acquaintance to know what their plans are in addressing the issue of drugs. The Ministry of Health is focusing on the mental health part of it. The Ministry of Youth and Sports focuses on the rehabilitation aspect, training of young people, and to get them vocational skill that they can be reintegrated to the Liberian society to contribute positively. The Ministry of Justice and the LDEA should be able to fight the crime, raise the prevention level, and stop people from taking drugs. That is where our problem lies. We are not capacitated. The LDEA is not fully funded to start that fight to minimize the drug prevalence in Liberia. We are not there yet, and so it is a serious problem that we need to see how our government can focus on the preventive measure. Because as I was listing some of the monies that were allocated in the budget, government focus now is on rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is good. 1.1 million people already on drugs. We should see focus on how we can be able to address, stop them from using drugs, process them through rehabilitation, for them to become better citizens. But the focus is taking off the preventive part. So whilst we are spending money to rehabilitate 100 persons, take for example, 200 persons through the influx of drugs in the country will be getting hooked on drugs. And so we have started to build a case and reach out to other partners to see how we can raise the issue of prevention of drugs coming into our country, cutting off the supplies.
So when you
In
say
order,
other partners, can you be a little clearer on that? Who are the partners you're talking about, please?
come again.
When you say other partners, who are those partners you're talking about?
Okay, so we have the United Nations Office on Drug. We have in fact, most of the UN agencies are the one UN house that has to do with the issue of drugs are fully participatory in this. We have the U.S. Embassy. They have an office on drugs too that uh, that are working within the sector. So those are the partners one will say are helping with the LDEA, the steering committee, and other government agencies that are helping to fight the issue of drugs.
Okay, thank you. So, Mark, any question or concern for the representative?
Not so much on the issue of drugs because we've been given the statistic before. 20% of the country's population use or narcotic substances. That's 1/5 of the entire population. That's a national security threat. And we just got a report from the World Bank less than the past 6 months saying that people are not only living in abject poverty, 3.5 million Liberians live in absolute poverty. That was the exact quote from the World Bank report. And the lawmaker is saying that his district is one of the least developed districts in the country. So these things are nothing new. The only thing is how do you find solution to the problem and take it into account? And one thing that caught my attention when he was introducing himself, he formed part of the House Committee on State-Owned Enterprises. And the last time I checked, there was a public hearing held by Weston Finley complaining that 6 months into the current budget year, most of these state-owned enterprises are not making remittances to the government's cover. So I don't know how he can reconcile that people are not making payment. They are generating funds in their own entity for themselves. They are not making remittances to the state coffers. And you got one of the least developed districts. As a lawmaker, how do you reconcile the two? That would be my first question.
And so it's true. Um, I'm on the committee on state-owned enterprises, And we had issues recently with handling issues at the House of Representatives when it comes to the budgetary allotment. And because things were not forthcoming, we call on the LRA, the Commissioner General, and that of the Ministry of Finance to do a presentation to bring us up to speed how revenue was performing and how expenditures were being carried out. Because all we thought at the point in time was that, well, the government wasn't generating the revenue for which expenditures were made. Unfortunately, from the LRA presentation that were made, they have overly achieved their target for the quarter. And in that presentation, we were informed that the state-owned enterprises were not making contribution to support the budget. And if there should have been any problem, it will be coming from the state-owned enterprises. Immediately, the chairperson of our committee called on members and we decided to engage the state-owned enterprises. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, we are not seeing things coming from the National Port Authority one. I think they are basically on publicity spree rather than doing things that will actually have the positive impact in affecting the budget that will have an overall effect on the Liberian people. The same goes to the LPRC. And so we have started to schedule um, hearings with these state-owned to see how they can be able to live to the budgetary allocation so that the budget can perform and that things that are ought to happen, most especially that should be affecting my district, can start to happen. The issue of health and sanitation in my district is very, very poor. The issue of education, schools in my district is very, very poor. We can only be able to achieve that if all entities that have been given the allocation to support the budget can be able to do so, even at the very minimum that at what is being done now. Unfortunately, people they aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and we have been reaching out to our colleagues. If you listen to the House of Representatives of recent, we've been calling in people from the state-owned enterprises to come and see how we can be able to perform our oversight with them, that they can make the necessary allocations or being budgeted as their contribution towards the budget.
Okay. Mark, any other question for the representative before I because I have a follow-up question for the representative. Representative Goshua, do you think it would be fair to you allocate of almost 700 million you have in a budget, you allocate only 500,000 to go towards quote unquote fighting drugs. In totality, it's 2 million, but you broke it down to say, listen, 2 million, about 1.5 million goes towards taking care of, the people who are LDA and so forth. The 500 million is only meant for, can you imagine 500 million for a population of
500,000? Why you
500,000?
500,000, I mean, it's allocated for 500 million, for 5 million Liberians. Let's just put it that way.
$1 a piece.
Do you think it would be fair for the World Bank, United Nations, United States, and other people, some of us in the diaspora, pay huge taxes, and the money comes to Liberia, to you guys, you allocate all that money to pay yourself first. But then you say, let's go ask the World Bank, let's go ask the United Nations, other people to come and help us. But you got money, oh. You don't give it to your people, you invest it in your people. You take care of yourself for it. Then you say, let's go ask our other. Do you think that's fair?
Well, the salary payments, when people work, they should get paid for it. And I'm not happy with the way in which the budget was brought to us. it was a disappointment to me first that we are speaking about the future of Liberia, and the budget doesn't speak to that. In my question to one of the presenters during the budget here at the Ministry of Finance was where were they when the president put his neck on the board that he's going to declare war on drugs, but the budget is speaking something totally different. And the response was this was the first time, and there are more years to come. But this is the same first time that the president had declared a war on the budget, on the drugs, and the budget didn't speak to that. It's something, it is of a disappointment to us. The best we can do is to see how we can be able to robustly perform our oversight and see how we can raise a concern. It's difficult to keep calling on our donor partners to come and do things when we ourselves should be taking the charge to lead. And it's a difficult thing. We have a common saying that if somebody wants to wash your back, you
Yeah,
should be able to wash your stomach.
most definitely.
Unfortunately, we don't see it happening. You're asking people to wash your back and your stomach. I did say that I'm the co-chair on the committee on water and sanitation. 95% of whatever comes for water and sanitation in Liberia, it comes from donor partner. And the Liberian government allocates absolutely nothing.
Can you please say that again, please? I beg you, please. Can you please repeat what you just said?
95% of monies that are used for water, hygiene, it's a water sanitation and hygiene, the wash is being provided by donor partners.
Oh
And
wow.
even the little amount that is expected to come from the Liberian government is not forthcoming.
Monk, go ahead, please. Sorry for the interruption, Monk. Please go ahead with your questions.
Yeah, you see, you know, we got there's a reason with product democracy we got separate co-equal branches of government, and we all know when it comes to implementing the budget or executing the budget, the executive, but equally so the budget originated in the house. So we can blame the president partially to say, okay, you wage your war on drugs, but you are not living up to the tax because you're talking about 1/5 of the country's population. You're only allocating $500. I mean $500,000 in program related financing to help alleviate drugs. So technically, you literally spending close to 50 cents an individual looking at the total population of the country and the amount allocated. So the question I want to ask the honorable lawmaker is, I mean, like when they were coming up with this budget for the issue on drugs, I mean, like, were you in total agreement or what was your input looking at the crisis? Because it's a national security threat in terms of drug, the spread of drugs in the country. So what would you say? Even though we can blame the executive, but equally so the budget is originated in the house as well. So which role or which share of the blame are you going to take that you can look at such an amount and allocate it towards fighting drugs in Liberia?
So when it comes to the fight against drugs, the blame will also come on us as at the legislature. When the budget comes to us, in whatever form and manner it comes, when it reaches us and is placed on the agenda, that budget becomes a zero budget. It is this legislature that will go back in and start to do appropriation and allocation. And if whatever came to us is the same way in which we were able to pass it, stating that there are other pressing priorities, that the budget, the manner in which the executive brought it, they set priorities, and we go along with those priorities set, and we do not do the necessary, but only focus on seeing how we can find ways to increase revenue for additional expenditure. That is an issue that we have as a country. And the legislature has her fair share of taking the blame that we aren't doing much to safeguard the future of this country.
Sounds like a fair assessment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Representative Goshua, we will be going to the news break or the news bulletin here in just the next few minutes. So I'm not sure if you want to take a break because these conversations are, we're trying our best not to make it political. We wanted to stay educational and informative as you have been. But on SKT, we can talk everything. So we'll
I
come
know.
back. I hope you're taking a break and doing whatever. We're going to come on by the show again.
Oh yeah, we get hot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We're about to increase the tempo
I
after
yeah.
this.
know.
So,
I know.
so
I'm here. I'm here.
Maybe before we take a break, a quick break, do you have any question for the representative? We'll take a quick break because we've got to go to the news bulletin there quickly.
Yes, my concern has been, it will take a little time, but my concern has to do with the issue within the LDA. I don't know how far with the honorable man, because mind you, he's the chair according to him. So some of the issues like the the the, the three bosses, they are out. And honorable, what do you say? How far now with the suspension?
And so, first thing, it was a disappointment that those people that are charged with the responsibility to fight drug crimes are fighting amongst themselves. And it went on for some time to the extent that the president had to intervene and suspend the entire leadership, the three most senior persons. And it has stalled some work. Notwithstanding, an officer in charge was named, and the investigation is being conducted by the Minister of Justice. Hopefully, a finding and a resolution should be made sometime this week. Hopefully. Uh, I spoke to the Minister of Justice sometimes on last week, and we are to meet. I'm to pay him a visit tomorrow, so as to know how far the investigation has gone, what are the expectation? Are these individuals going to be taken back? Whatever the investigation has come up with, we are only hoping that people that are being charged with the responsibility live up to the expectation, because the issue that we are fighting, the issue fights back, and it threatens the future of our country. And so it's something that is very, very serious. The LTEA plays a very major role in fighting this crime. And so if they are fighting amongst themselves, we can only know what will happen with the crime and its prevalence in Liberia. But he did say that they will be completing a report to make to the president, and and then we will know how to pick up from there. Hopefully sometime this week it should be done.
Thank you, Representative. I know we'll let you take a break so that you and the news can come back. But Monk and I will be on in the back end, but we'll let the representative take a break, folks. Once we get back on the radio, there we'll have to represent. But Monk and I, along with Milburn, will be on here. Representative, we'll be right back with you in the next 15 minutes after the news break. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So the representative will be back, folks. We'll continue on the show from here. Monk,
Yeah.
so far, what is your impression of the representative and the national call he's made? And I like the fact that he's been, in my view, he's been fair,
Yep.
and straightforward. He's not missing a word. So he's not playing no politics and nothing like that. What say you? What is your view?
I think I'm impressed from the initial question we've been asking so far. He's not political. He's been informative here, and he giving straight answers. I mean, he's not playing politics from an overall assessment. I think he's answering questions like he needs to answer the question. But we'll wait to the second segment of the show when we amp the tempo a little bit, and then we'll see what happens next. But he's confident for what is about the drugs. He got his facts right. Like he did his homework. He came with some statistical evidences and fact in terms of the number, and his assessment so far seemed good. I think our audience alone, I mean, I can see some positive response from the audience as well. So you see, it's all about saying the truth. Nobody come here to play politics on SKTV, even though most of them can be afraid to come here because they feel that this place is now a friendly turf or a friendly territory. But we don't do anything different here. It's just fairness, giving the facts, giving the truth to the audience and Liberian people. And he's a lawmaker, so the people expect a lot from him. The one thing I learned from him is the fact that his district is the least developed district in Grand Bassa County. That's something that I learned today. Strange. I had no idea. But I mean, so far so good. I think from my own assessment, everything looks okay. But we'll see what happened the second segment of the show when we start going into the meat and potatoes of
Check-
the conversation.
Yeah, just before I get a Milburn, for his reaction, and these are some of the things I would say. When you come on SKTV and you think you're going to play us and you want to lie and play politics, that's when we start to push you. You keep it 100%, you bring the facts, we go smoothly. But if you come here and you think that you're going to do that regular munya and funny politics in Liberian, you're going to lie to us and mail load with funny people here, we don't play like that. If you can't say the truth, we work with you. Soon you start changing your tune and you won't be guessing here and be playing funny game. Then we gotta push you now. We gotta push to the issues and we gotta hold you accountable and keep you on record. But once you're saying the truth, you don't need to struggle. The representative sitting in the studio chill, so far he's not struggling, he's not stuttering, no talking funny thing, and he goes straight to the point. They play what the issue is, he say it. So I mean, so far, so what say you, Milburn?
Well, let me say thanks again to you and Representative Monk. Actually, I'm really overwhelmed. I don't know, but I think this is the first case so far, apart from the Musa Asambelete, who usually, coming on. But to see somebody appearing, especially lawmaker appearing for the first time, and and just so easy and responding to questions, the way you're doing, I think, it speaks volume. Like what you and Monk just said, we are not here to fight anybody. We are here for the betterment of Mama Liberia. So again, I hope and pray that we'll come back maybe in the second phase, when the ball now we're in the second half. I hope that maybe it will not change. But I really like him. I like his style. And when you tell me about, I hope you guys will not do me fire for fire as a chief. This platform is for everyone. When you come with all of the facts, everything that you be asked, and when you answer, well, that's it removed. So thank you so much to you and President Moindi. I'm really admiring all of the questions being placed, for, the way the questions are coming and the way the answers are also coming out is good.
Yeah,
And Steve, the second important point he made, when you see there's difference between campaigning and governing, right? Some people would make political moves just for the sake of gaining the votes of the average voter, but then when it comes to governing, their rhetoric cannot match with the reality. Look at the case he just made. He gave another figure here, statistic. He said 95% of the funds allocated for water and sanitation and hygiene, 95% come from donors. So even our own government is not interested in providing clean drinking water for Liberians. If 95% of the fund, their whole dependency syndrome is something we are yet to get over in Liberia, and it will dog off for a very, very long time. And he said it right. The people in our layman parlance will say, when you want someone to scratch your back, you should scratch your stomach. In the case, I don't think we're even lifting our hand. Let's talk about scratching our stomach. You're talking about 95% for water, sanitation, and hygiene purposes, and you're talking about coming from donors? Like, I mean, man, but that's Liberia, we'll get to the discussion again.
and Monk, you said it right, because and then he went as far as saying the 5% to even get it at war. So this is to tell you, I mean, even in America, Monk, you and I know, living in this country and living in the Western world and other places, if you want people to do things for you naturally, let them see you taking baby steps.
Yeah.
Let them see you doing certain things. It makes things difficult. It makes things easier for them. So, when we get back, we'll get to the politics of the day. We'll get to some of the issues, the training issues politically. And we'll hear from the representative concerning some of the national issues. But Monk, I know normally we talk some social things before we get back on the radio. Some social things here. Our man, yes, daddy is back. What is going on?
Oh, that video I saw yesterday. Now the man sending curses rather than being the one there, rather than come up with prophetic messages. Now he's the one cursing people. I'm like, wow. You see, that's one of the reasons.
What say you? What do you think about our boy back?
There need to be some kind of a regulation in the gospel, even though you want to separate church from state. But at a certain point in time, you will need some elders to step in, because this thing is beyond the pale, my man. I saw that video. I couldn't believe that it was a man of God claiming to be sending curses on people. I was like, wow, bro. How they became a man of God, because that's the last thing you will want to hear from a clergyman and a pastor. But
and unfortunately, he appeared very confident, ringing some kind of stupid belt and talking foolishness with confidence. And these are some of the things when we say people get pissed off. But how do you allow people to make fun out of you and make you to look like something not right in your brain.
Like
You know,
like a mockery at this stage.
the man even sitting there, he had the audacity to even say Peter and Jesus related. They can do DNA tests and they'll find out. This kind of stupidity with confidence in public. People say it to you, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, think about some of these things. Just think about it. Think about it. The man is saying Jesus and we should do DNA tests if we were to do DNA tests. And the man ringing belt. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at his physical morphology and the belt that he ringing. All of these different things I'm trying to put them together to make sense. What's going on? I mean, I just don't get it. I'm not getting it, you know. And he's there with confidence. I don't know who I don't know, two idiots he had over there talking and saying amen and co-signing to his foolishness with confidence. Because this is stupidity at the highest level. You got two grown men sitting there co-signing to that foolishness and saying amen. And you think this is religion? You think this is religion. You think that Jesus is talking about it. And guess what? With all of these things, the man is even professing that, you know, he's sending accident to people and the other person will die.
People will die. Yeah.
And he's calling injured. I don't know what kind of injured. I don't know what the injured knee he called, but the injured.
Wow. I'm not looking for that. Wow.
No, he's saying he was saying Goa on people. All the other people that they kill from Goa, whatever it is. I don't know what kind of contract he signed. So that means he going by and telling the devil said him and bring the Goa. But the one I was interested in calling some kind of injured name, the injured name said that he calling look like a criminal name because the name that you were calling looks criminal in my view. I don't get it. Where are these people coming from? Why is the country so loose? Even to the point that people are using religion now to threaten people, and I don't get it. That's but also in other news, I know we'll talk about it very, very soon. Also, it seemed like the Senate, I'm not calling it to his credit, he was very clear. It seemed like he's throwing some punches. We'll talk about it here.
Oh yeah, when the lawmaker gets out, that's a very discussion topic.
Yes, he's throwing some punches.
Throwing some huge punches.
But wow. We also, if you can record, we also talked about the finance minister.
Oh yes.
His expression earlier on, we talked about it. We talked about that story on here. Credit to Front Page Africa also, who provided some facts to substantiate it about the pressure that was mounted on Boyman Kamara earlier on. Sometimes last month we talked about it. Yep. We talked about how he was pressured and how he's sick, and he even claimed that people are making juju on him to get rid of him in that position and so forth. I mean, we'll talk about that with the lawmakers. What say you, Monk? What's really going on? 6 months into the leadership and the presidency, and this is happening. What say you?
And don't forget, you were held in contempt for not showing up as well. And he cited certain reasons for not showing up. But we said it before that there were pressure mounting behind the scenes to get rid of him. I don't know if the medical reason can justify that, but we'll see. You know, that's Liberia. Anything is possible. But the fact of the matter is, SKTV predicted that it was going to happen, and it is happening, even though it's not 100% confirmed, but we know that it will be confirmed. So it means that the prediction came to reality, and there were pressure behind the scenes for him to relinquish his position or resign, either way you want to put it. Whether he gave you a justifiable reason or whether it was the same pressure that forced him to crumble, I don't know. Using medical reason as the yardstick to say, okay, you know what, it's because of medical reason I'm leaving the position, but I know it has nothing to do with medical reason. It was other reason that caused him to, maybe they got some insider in the administration that believe that he's not living up to the task. And matter of fact, I think the president and his cronies even at some point said that he was not performing up to expectation. I think that was one of the reasons. I don't know what they mean by expectation, because Boyman Kamara, he came from the previous administration as well with a lot of experiences. So I don't know, but we'll see. At the end of the day, when the dust settled, we'll get the actual reason. But we knew there were pressures behind the scenes for him to leave that position. So that one I know for sure. The rest we'll get later.
Very, very interesting. But Monk, I understand this. I understand the point you're making. But what does that speak about the government? Should we expect this government to lay all the blame of corruption, mismanagement, economic mismanagement, and so forth, economic policy and so forth, to place it on Boyman Kamara? Because I'm saying on SKTV today, and I want us to remember this and mark this down, the next move the Unity Party will make to accuse Boyman Kamara of all of the economic halu-balu they've had, to accuse him directly. What say you? What does that speak about the current administration in 6 months getting rid of the finance minister? This is a positive sign? Is this a negative sign? What say you?
Well, it's a negative sign from my overall assessment because this don't forget now, this administration struggle to form her own government. So if you struggle in such a manner, and if even that if the we are led government were even on time in terms of setting up, the government to get running from day one, and Joseph Boakai came and struggled. And even in the midst of struggling, he stayed firing one of the top guys because the finance ministry position is one of the top positions in the entire bureaucracy. So if you're going to put Bowman Kamara under pressure to resign, or I don't know, or trying to play a PR game by putting the blame on him, I don't know if that will hold, because you can, I don't know. I'm not saying Bowman Kamara is perfect either, but I don't want to believe that it's because of performances that he will be told to leave his position. I don't want to buy into that. I know there are other things happening behind the scene, whether it was lawmaker calling him to come and testify or to justify decisions that were being made while the lower house are not getting a benefit. It's so many things. The whole issue about yellow machine and bosses. There are so many things that happen that you just cannot wrap your head around. It's like this government keep manufacturing one crisis after another. So if you are going to struggle to set up your own government, let alone firing one of the top guys in the government that should be playing defense for the executive in terms of funds, in terms of appropriation, in terms of budget, then it's more of a red flag than anything positive. So whether it's for medical reason, which I believe it could be part of it, but I don't think that's the main reason. It could be other things happening behind the scene. That's a signal or red flag on the Boakai administration in terms of governance.
Okay, well, we're getting to. Monk, let me ask you another question. Monk, let's throw light to the other thing before maybe the radio will be coming on soon. The representative will come back. Let me ask you this question. You are Kopokra, who has almost all of the allegations of corruption as of recent. One might say Joseph Boakai is doing the right thing. The president wants to do the right thing. That's why he's calling on. He's reshuffling early on. President Jones, we did not do that with Samuel Tuwe. The president wants to get rid of Bowman Kamara because there's been a lot of economic policy things are not going right and so forth. One might say that, but you got Kopokra with all of the corruption allegations, indictments.
Mm-hmm.
But Kopokra said that.
Yeah.
So what is the message here? What's going on? Is this a pick and choose thing, or if Bowman Kamara was not quote unquote sick, I haven't seen a medical record or seen anything to say he's sick. Probably to say that.
When you're sick, you can take leave of absence.
Exactly.
Nobody just retired from that position. Not like Bowman Kamara is some old guy that is beyond capacity that can get a job. Let's assume that he's sick. He could ask for leave of absence and take on advance, or seek medical redress outside of the country. Because for you to, in a country like Liberia, for you to just relinquish your post as finance minister in the society where jobs don't come by often, I don't want to believe. Yeah, you could make the case that he's not feeling well, but that is not a reason to say that he's going to resign from his post. I would not buy into that, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theory there, but the fact that it just don't make sense to me. Because if you want to say it's about efficiency and about executing his duty, then it would be like a reshuffle. But then in the case you're making, if it's a reshuffle, then other people will fall on the net because there are people that are performing worse than Bowman Kamara. So it cannot be that. I know there are a bunch of shady things happening, and maybe Bowman Kamara just believe that it's time to call it quit. But like you said it right. I'm not going to come here and say, oh, he's sick or he's not sick. We cannot authenticate from his medical report or result. But I know when you are sick in government, there are leave of absence, there are remedies that you could use to take some time off to go and seek medical redress. And I know the finance ministry position is no small position that someone will just walk away because they feel that they are not feeling well. Anybody? No, I will not buy that. It's up to you if you can buy into that, but I will not buy that. I know it's something more sinister than just a regular sickness or a health situation.
Very, 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 very interesting. Melbourne, what say you? The president returned today. We'll be asking questions. We'll be asking the lawmaker. The lawmaker is a politician. We're going to get strictly into the politics. And then we'll open the lines for our people to speak with him or to interact with him as well. What say you, Melbourne?
Good. So we're back after the news bulletin, and the lawmaker now going to Studio B to have a seat and to kick the ball rolling so that we can continue with our show right here on Truth FM 96.1. So I'm good. Thank God for life.
Wonderful. Again, the lawmaker is a politician, so we'll be asking some political questions here. We'll be getting That the second part is showing up back and be noisy and be juicy. You're challenge you. No, mama, me just smiling today. What do you have? I would have loved me going something not going nowhere else.
No, the lawmaker was saying a lot of things behind the same, and it was just so interesting. Let me be frank, Steve, this country to admit, and I just like the way it start coming now. I think we're going to understand, we will know where some of the problem lies, what happened behind the scene, what some of the works that have been done. So, we're just chilling and I'm very happy. But thank you.
Thank you. Representative Goshua, welcome back.
Thank you.
We want to get strictly into the conversation here. Let's keep starting the conversation politically because you are a politician. By profession, you are a politician. And so it's been rumored, and we want to hear from you. Are you still affiliated with the ANC?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You're still affiliated with the ANC currently as we speak?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that and for also putting to bed this rumor. But Representative Goshua, the president just traveled. Did you sign off on the budget? Let's get that question clear for because I know you say you have some reservations about key issues in the budget and so forth. Did you sign off on the budget?
I voted for the budget passage.
Say it right now, please.
I voted for the budget passage.
You voted for the budget passage, okay?
Yeah.
Did you also receive? No, go ahead, please. Sorry.
So after some adjustments were made, and the issue of drugs, though not to my satisfaction, was addressed, but we thought that we could do a little work, create the awareness, so that subsequently, when we are making the case for additional budgetary allocation to fight the issue of drugs in Nigeria, it will have made sense. So yes, I did vote for the budget passage.
Okay, you voted for the budget passage on the record. We have you on that too as well. Thank you for that clarity. But let me ask you this question because the budget, as we see, almost everybody have said that it doesn't reflect the Liberian people. It's not for the Liberian people and so forth. Have you also taken the 45,000 cars that's allocated for lawmakers? Have you taken it?
No, matter of fact, it has not been allocated.
Why is that?
Minister of Finance said there's no money.
Would you take it? You say your people in District 5 in Grand Bassa are suffering, very poor. You come from a poor side of the country. Let me use that word. Would you take the 45,000 car?
If I would take the 45,000 car?
Yes, would you take it?
Yes, I would take if this vehicle that is being provided for me in order to do the work that will have positive impact on the lives of my constituent, I will do that. Because I will need to visit them. I go to Bassa almost every weekend, and my roads are really, really challenged.
But you've had 2 times 45,000 cars, though.
No,
every 3 years, you have $45,000 car given to you.
No, that's not true.
Okay, can you provide a clarity here and the facts, please?
Okay, so during the last term, because the vehicles could not come in early, I had to go and purchase a vehicle on my own through the not Africa Motors, but where George has his Prestige Motors.
Right.
And so when the monies came, we directed the payment to settle that car loan that we took. And then the second half of the year, we were able to get another vehicle in which we used for 3 years, and it got totally damaged. In matter of fact, on the day of elections, immediately after I voted, my car got stuck in the mud. It stayed there. We just had to pull it from the district recently.
Okay. Well, thank you for your transparency. We'll let the Liberian people be the judge when they call or when they interact with you. But let me move on to the next one. I'll turn it over to Monk here really quick. I know Monk will come on the other end of this conversation, but let me move on to this one. Most recently, the president, his trip to Nigeria is reported by different outlets, both international outlets. this is what it states here. President Joseph Yuma Bwaga has been appointed as chief negotiator to reunite the Sahid Alliance as President Tinubu gets re-elected as ECOWAS chairman. Now, the reason I'm asking this question is because most recently, the Sahid group or alliance, which comprises of Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Chad, left the ECOWAS and said they're not coming back to the ECOWAS. Here is President Joseph Yuma Bwaga being appointed with this huge task of bringing them back. Given what you know as a politician, given the situation in Liberia, the divide in Liberia, do you think President Joseph Yuma Bwaga can undertake this task?
Well, I think he can try, and I'm being honest. He can try, but if he will be able to succeed, I can tell. Currently in Liberia, we have a divided country.
Mhm.
Look up to the leadership. The president being the head of government, it should be the one to take the lead to foster reconciliation amongst us as Liberians. We have not seen that forthcoming. Elements from the ruling establishment don't seem to be the ones to open up their arms to embrace reconciliation and unite the Liberian people. It's something unfortunate. That's a hard truth. And like I said, the president will try, but I don't see how it's going to be because charity begins at home. If we cannot achieve reconciliation to bring your people back so that we can have a unified country in addressing issues that affect all of us, I don't know how we are going to be able to achieve that when the responsibility is placed on him.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll turn over to Monk, but just for the record, the Front Page Africa and other allies are reporting that former Minister Kimia, in terms of unity and so forth and reconciliation, Foreign Minister Kimia under the George Weah-led administration should have been appointed as witnessing ECOWAS to Sierra Leone, but it is reported that Joseph Yuma Bwaga, along with the foreign minister, along with Minister Grisby, have stepped on it and said he should not be appointed to Sierra Leone and so forth. We don't know why that is, what the reason is, what their reasonings are, but we'll leave it as that. We just want to make sure we corroborate some of the peace, reconciliation, and so forth. But Mark, it's up to you. What say you?
I think the lawmaker is right. I mean, I think Bola Tinubu is trying to recruit for a nursing home. They're trying to get results. Because if you get our president that cannot even unite his own country, we still got a deep political divide. People still believe that there are witch hunt happening in the government in terms of job, the regularization of the whole payroll process. How do you? They think people need to understand the reason Mali, Chad, Niger, and Burkina Faso left ECOWAS. They believe ECOWAS is a toothless bulldog. They did it for economic reasons. Those people want more bang for their buck. They believe that their colonial master were not doing their due diligence. They were not giving things. Like, take for example, Niger. You got less than 10 to 15% of the country electrified, and the vast majority of the nuclear energy that France uses or depends on, the product comes from Niger. All Niger and Chad, Chad and Mali, other people are saying, you know what, we've been doing business with you, but this business been one-sided. We are not benefiting. And you want me to believe that Joseph Bwaga can go and reconcile those countries back to the ECOWAS? That's a joke. So I'm not going to take that seriously. We're going to skip on that topic because the whole idea as to why those countries boycott of the ECOWAS, they are mostly economic reasons that got nothing to do with regular politics. It's all about, I've been doing business with you. My resources should be, I should get more bang for my buck. I should get something better for my people in the end than just playing yes sir to the colonial master all the time. So for me, it's more of a geopolitics than just your regular politics. So the whole thing is just like a beauty contest, like putting listed on the peak. I mean, I want for Joseph Bwaga to focus on Liberia. I mean, think about his finance minister about to resign, talking about ECOWAS. I mean, focus on Liberia. I think we are mostly concerned with issues happening in Liberia than the case of ECOWAS. So I would have told Bola Tinubu thanks, but no thanks. I think there's other taxes too hectic for me. I got too much on my plate in Liberia to really accept this position. That would be my take if I was Joseph Bwaga. So
the finance minister has resigned.
Yeah, okay, so it's confirmed now.
Yeah, citing high health reason.
Mark, do you have any question for the lawmaker? We do you have any question for the lawmaker?
No other question. I think we can just move into the next segment of the show.
Okay. Well, you just confirmed as a sitting lawmaker that the finance minister has resigned, citing health reasons.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question: how does it play out for the government? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What is it? Considering I think he was also due to come to see you guys. I'm not sure.
He
Can you
did
please?
come.
Huh?
He did come. He came at the legislature where
Mhm.
we charged him with contempt, and he came providing reasons why he had not come, and paramount amongst the reasons was because of his poor health. And so, if he feels that um, his health cannot permit him to function adequately as a minister of finance, I think he did an honorable thing to resign.
So you are. I'm saying his resignation. His resignation.
Mhm.
How from a political standpoint, from an international standpoint, you've been around politics and so forth. What image does it give to this government? Because like Mon said, you were on a break. He could have taken a leave of absence to take care of his health. So there was and Front Page Africa also reported that there's been pressure from Joseph Yuma Boakai and other people around him as well to oust or to push out the finance minister. Does it show any sign of recalibration for the Joseph Yuma Boakai administration, or would this be a problem? What say you?
What I can say is the president the president appointed Kamara as his minister of finance, entrusting him to
Mhm.
run the the fiscal space of our country, and he knew or he knows exactly what he's going through when it comes to the issue of his health. And so today we were discussing issues, some of them around this quote unquote yellow machine, and then there were rumors coming up that the president have asked the man to resign because he did not go along with what was suggested. Probably they want to take loan. And my input to the colleagues were, look, let's wait. If the minister will resign, he will give his reasons. We shouldn't make our judgments on hearsay or rumors. And so when the reasons were finally given that due to poor health, he had tendered in his resignation. That what the horses say. So we will take it, whether he was being pressured or not. What signal is sent out.
I love that approach from the lawmaker. That's why they say that what we take.
But Mo, do you have any question for the lawmaker on this subject? Because we're moving
I
gradually to
don't
the.
think so. I think we're hitting the topic. Like I said, we can go to the next segment of the show about the trending news now in Liberia. The one that get like bring people on the edge. I mean, I think it's the
And
most.
just for the record, the House of Representatives also pardoned him.
Oh yes, we did.
Pardoned him
Uh,
with
You
one
got
count.
you got part on here, right?
Yes.
in my mind, I would have thought something sterner would have been placed on him. And had I been given the opportunity, I would have gone for a fine, even though the option was given that we place him to jail until we go close or we fine him. I would have gone for a fine rather than just letting him go, because the picture, the optics of it wouldn't resonate well with other people. And most times when people are invited to the House of Representative plenary, they rather send in excuses rather than appearing. And so we thought in my mind that should have been more stern. But at plenary, we do vote. The minority will have the say, but the majority takes the day. And they thought to have him pardoned because of the presentation he made of his poor health.
Okay. They thought to have him
But
pardoned
it
because of.
looks like you guys are the most generous branch of government because it seems like you guys can just forgive and just pardon people. It like the trend from both the upper and lower house that people can just do things, and at the end of the day, we can say, I never heard the word forgive in politics, but it was my first time hearing it the last time, and I'm hearing pardon. So it seems like of the three branches of government now, our lawmakers, they are the most generous group in the entire country. Like You guys can just pardon people and forgive people. Yeah,
As a matter of fact, we have been called. There's a saying now that said, "We must temper justice with mercy." That was a term used in order to pardon the Minister of Finance.
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you a straightforward question before we get into the other segment. Do you believe the horse is corrupt?
Coming in.
Do you believe the horse is corrupt?
That's a rhetorical one. I wouldn't say the horse is corrupt, but there is this corruption within the corridors.
Okay.
Saying that the horse is corrupt, I'll be placing a blanket on everybody, including myself, and that's not the case with everybody. So corruption exists.
Corruption exists.
Yes, even at the level of the house. But I won't just generalize it to say that the house is corrupt.
Okay. Would you join Chairman Representative Musa Hassan Belede, your colleague, and also your colleague Honorable Yeke Koluba, for an audit of the house?
This is something that I started advocating since 2019. Matter of fact, I'm on record. I did the first communication calling for the audit of the House of Representatives on a buffer chamber. When it didn't appear on the agenda, we wrote another one. This time, we were 5 persons that signed that letter. Honorable Westerlin Swakoko Dennis, Honorable Yeke Koluba, Honorable Howard B.N. Howard from Lofa, Thomas Goshua, and Francis Dopo. 5 of all wrote a communication calling for the audit of the legislature.
Okay.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And so there's my stance is still the same. The House of Representatives must be audited in order to be accountable to the Liberian people.
Thank you so much. Let's move to the Monk. Monk, I want to give it to you so you can lead us into the branding issue. What's going on our machine and stuff. What say you, Monk? Monk, you there? Anyways, I don't know. Monk will resume. But let me ask you this question. What do you know about the yellow machines?
Well, at first we heard rumors, and then I saw pictures of earth moving equipments being transported and paraded through the streets. But officially, nothing has been communicated to us.
Yeah, but what the rumor you and I share with Otuna because we all said we escape team will let rumor be no see all that.
I see. So the rumor is that the United Party-led government procured or loaned or was gifted 285 pieces of earth-moving equipment. That's the rumor.
Okay.
And so now that we have seen pictures of it, we have seen pieces of evidence, though the communication has not come to us as to how these pieces of equipment were obtained, but being the representatives of the people, there are some facts that we can adduce from what is obtaining. So, for example, the bill of lading was issued in the name of the Ministry of State. The Ministry of State received those pieces of equipment and further had them parked or relocated to the Ministry of Defense, a public facility. We being public officials, we thought to raise concerns. So several of our colleagues have written communication to make inquiries as to the pieces of equipment, how they came in, what's the intended use, all those things. So we will start to raise some issues about it tomorrow, based on the fact that they were being paraded in the streets, and it is no more a rumor that it is coming to the country.
Well, please go ahead with your questionings. I was I turn over to you, but we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to read a statement that one of his colleagues made, Amara Kone,
Mhm.
because he talked about an ethical stone, even if it entails reaching to the Supreme Court. So it's bigger than what most people think. And there are three premises the lawmaker established when he came on the show. He said his district is one of the least developed district. So,
Mhm.
and when you look at the whole political setting, like Brennan, people are of two schools of thought.
Yeah.
Some people believe that Liberia is so poor that we lack infrastructure. So it means we should take anything. We can take money from the devil, even if we require taking money from the devil. Some people believe that no, in as much as we are poor and we need development and we need infrastructure development, most importantly, there are rules, there are constitutional laws and procurement law that exist in this country that will serve as a middleman to check certain accusations made by government, especially when it comes to spending Liberian people resources and their tax dollar. So I will just read what Senator Amara Collins wrote on his Facebook page and asked the honorable lawmaker which school of thought he's coming from. Are you going to support the idea that we cannot skew our law, that we should follow the rating procedure, even though we need development in the country, or we can take money from the devil in the name of development because we are so desperate for development? And this is what Amara Conan wrote. He said,
Okay.
"Good morning, friends. Just a quick reminder of the important issue we have to address in this yellow machine debate. There's currently no financing instrument in place at the legislature for the recent accusation of the yellow machine that the executive branch unveiled over the weekend. I will speak to this matter on the Senate floor for the record when we receive the loan agreement. Meanwhile, it is crucial that we, the legislature, have full transparency and oversight of this, as well as the acquisition of other assets like the police car and potentially NTA buses. The lack of evidence of competitive procurement is causing some serious concern. And if we don't address this, it could bring more problems for our government's reputation and adherence to the rule of law and could potentially lead to a new sanctions of public official if it is laden with graft. And we do the usual labyrinth thing of but there are other people and say what we can afford to ignore this issue. Whether you are a rescue or coalition or an independent lawmaker like myself, it is clear that there's a lack of desire for internal accountability within our government, and we need to be able to ask the tough questions and demand transparent answers. It is concerning that there is a reluctance to do so, and we can let this slide. There is an ethical storm brewing between the executive and the Capitol building, and it may end up to the Supreme Court. Let's remember that we are a country of laws, not individual. So that's a question to the honorable lawmaker. How do you reconcile the two? Now that the rescue mission is bringing a bunch of yellow machines, you are complaining that your district is one of the least developed districts in the entire county. How do you reconcile the two? And which school of thought are you coming from? Should we honor our rating laws, procurement laws, constitutional law, even though we need infrastructure development, or we should skew our laws in exchange for taking money from the devil because we are desperate for development?
So first, I want to begin by like this. You have already said my district is one of the least developed districts in Liberia. We are challenged with road. So the issue of machines coming into the country, of which my district will not be excluded, is something that's welcoming. But Liberia is a country of laws. The agenda of this government, the arrest agenda, one of the error, even though the first error there is for road, probably because of that the yellow machines were brought in. The second error is for the rule of law. The rule of law states that respect, regard, and ethics in governance must be adhered to. Whether this yellow machine was given as a gift, first we must consider who is this gift coming from? What's the intent? Our laws provide that you cannot receive gift over $250. you must be able to declare. So if it is a gift given to the president, to the government of Liberia, he has not made a declaration so that we will know how this gift was obtained. If it is a loan that is given to the government of Liberia, that loan has to be rectified by the legislature. As I sit here, there is no formal communication from the executive to the legislature seeking approval in obtaining a loan. If these machines were purchased, probably maybe from road funds or from the 25% that has been allocated under the Ministry of Public Works that they can use to procure machines, were they channeled through the proper PPPC methods and procedures, it will still have to come to the legislature for ratification and approval. Unfortunately, none of these things have happened. And in my mind, in as much as I will appreciate the machines coming to Liberia, but the executive branch has just utterly disregarded the functions of the legislature. Most times, in cases that people will try to put the public against the legislature. If we do not say what it is now, and these things should continue, we wouldn't have any grounds. So, in as much as I want the machines to do work, especially to affect the well-being of my people, the right thing must be done. And like I said, as I sit here, there is no communication from the executive branch to the legislature. Matter of fact, I even asked the speaker this morning, Mr. Speaker, we are seeing pictures, we saw moving of every equipment around. Has there been any notification from the president or from any member of the executive informing us of this? And his answer was in a negative. Just utter and total disregard to the legislature. And if we say we are a country of laws, and in the agenda that you are presenting to the Liberian people, the R in it is for rule of law. This is a bad precedence, a bad beginning that has started, and we must be able to curtail it.
Thank you. Just before we go to the lines, we definitely want to get to the lines. Maybe Milburn can ask. I know Milburn can set up, so you'll not be able to ask your question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this upfront question. First of all, the machines are in the country.
Somebody.
What are your options considering the Unity Party-led government, Joseph Yuma Boakai, they have not only brought in the machine, disrespect of the law, but they have defiantly defied all odds, and they're proceeding more than business as usual. What are your options? What can you do?
Well, I'll be honest. If this thing is allowed to pass, there must be repercussions for people that instigated this. We cannot arbitrarily disrespect the laws, disregard another branch of government of their constitutional responsibility, and we say business as usual. One of the mantras of the president that we will not allow business as usual. And so I will be piggybacking on that it cannot be business as usual. Whatever is done, if and I'm using the word if, because the decision that will be reached by plenary, and I just one person. If anything should be allowed that this should pass, there must be some kind of repercussion from the executive. People must be made to pay for the action that they take. We are conscious of laws. We must be able to follow the rules And if that rule requires that in this case, any such thing must come to the legislature before you even commence it, and you utterly disregard that, and people go about making mockery of it, that is something that we should not be allowed to condone.
Thank you so much. I think, Mark, do you have anything else to say before we get to the line?
I got something to say about this yellow machine, because there are only 1 or 3 instances that could happen with this yellow machine.
Yeah.
The lawmaker knows we got laws in Liberia when it comes to procurement. The first thing that will come to mind, you talk about a gift, but there are also rules and regulations that govern gift that a person can accept within the Constitution, right? Or the how they call it, the code of conduct or whatsoever. Code of conduct laws. That's one. But there is no Father Christmas out there. When somebody is giving a gift from a business standpoint, it means they want something in return. Okay. The second news, don't forget, there were rumors that were swearing in the public about this thing about some Chinese corporation and this guy from South Africa. And if you go to this machine, the inscriptions are there from the Sany group, SANY. The same thing that happened that we heard from the rumors, they are surfacing now, and their inscription, like I said, their logos is on this machine. That's 2 things. Now, the rumor said it was a sign-up bonus. Now, when you talk about sign-up bonus, it then means a concession agreement. It means Liberia will be giving something in exchange. And the third option was a loan agreement. But we know when it comes to a loan, it will have to be ratified by our lawmakers. So from your own assessment, which of the possible 3 that you think this thing can be leaning towards, whether a gift or sign-up bonus or a loan, from your own assessment? Because I know the one thing, you see, I'm not a fan of Amara Conan, but there's something that he said in that little draft he posted on Facebook. He said there's a blatant disregard for the law and it could trigger sanction. And don't forget, Amara Conan also worked in the executive. He was the one at a certain point making procurement too, because he served as finance minister. So if your former finance minister can even entertain the idea of a sanction, then what do you think this thing might be leading to from your own assessment? Like I said, it could be a gift, it could be a loan agreement, or a sign-up bonus. Which of these 3 you think is most likely to happen, and which violation you think it could trigger as a lawmaker?
Well, I would think that whatever machines are brought in, they are not gift. And I don't want to think that there are bonuses for signing off on a concession. Hypothetically, probably would say it's a loan, or the government or Liberia are purchasing these pieces of equipment, and by that, the law provides procedures that must be followed in procuring these things. That includes action from the legislature.
So technically, you're leaning towards the loan segment of this whole deal. And matter of fact, even if this was a loan, they should have confronted you guys first, make the recommendation, and you guys made a ratification of this particular loan agreement. But in this case, they brought a machine before even making the proposal of a loan. That is assuming it will be regarded as a loan agreement. And that's where the precedent is. And that's where the former finance minister is saying you could literally trigger a sanction because it's of a loan, but you did it in reverse. You didn't approach the lawmaker first. Matter of fact, you brought the machine. And I know that's something they smell politically that will give them that particular effrontery to bring machines into the country before even approaching lawmakers. So we see. Anyway, I'll start for that.
Well, thank you. Let's move on. Can we take some calls, please, so that we can have our people interact with the lawmaker, please? Please, if we can, that would be great. Maybe you're very low. We can't hear you, please. Maybe can you add some volume? You're very low. Please. Yeah, we can hear you. We can barely hear the guy or the person, please. Yeah. Folks, bear with us as Milborn looks to Studio B to put some of the calls from there.
Yeah. So Steve, I'm here. So let me see what I can take call from here. And today's caller, good evening. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, this is Pascal Davis, and let me say thanks to Honorable Goshua. Like I said, his district is very deplorable, very far from Buchanan City itself. Again, Pascal Davis, and so like he said, I think not many Liberians are against the machine. We welcome that. All we asking the president to do, to follow the law. Now that we've seen that the law has been broken, like Mon said, the machines are here. And that was supposed to be the case. What my fear is, it could be maybe in 2029. With the way things are happening, you could get go into the elections and Mr. Burger order the National Election Commission to declare another person is the winner, even though you.
All right. So today's caller, no time. We got to go, Pascal. Hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah, my brother. Go evening. Go ahead quickly. No time.
Yeah. This is the voice of Idrissa Sambai, and I phoned in from my Broadview resident.
Go ahead.
Really, I want to say thanks to the honorable man in studio. You know, really, this country, things are just going on the contrary. Really, I don't go straight to the point. This leader will get caught, Mr. Boakai. He is just carrying our country down in the dream.
All right. All right. Thank you. Today's caller, go evening. Tell us second, please.
This is Brown Country from Morovia.
Yeah, go ahead, boss.
Yeah, I think with the yellow machine thing, for me, the executive is playing its part. And if people say that they should reference the legislature before they will go to negotiate for loan for all they want, then it means in your cap branch, they mean that legislature has no input in the ratification because they will already know they send the executive. But if the executive can go, when they come back, when they submit the ratification document, it can be rejected or accepted based upon the document and the flexibility of the document. So for me, I don't see anything inside. Put them on taking their school and several checkpoints that when the ratification document comes, they will review it and be able to make sure that at least the people will respect them. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Ibrahim Tate, for being part today. Caller, good evening.
Neighbor, good evening.
Yeah, my brother, go ahead quickly. Tell us second.
And also Honorable Goshua, let me appreciate you so much for the discussion. This is somebody who came back from Broadway District 17. Let me say hi to my president Joe Boakai. So let me say this to him. While it is our right to ratify any due for the executive, I just want to tell him to go and if you get a chance to put any view on the floor that will allow all of them to go back to their constituent and ask that citizen if they need a machine, because you are representing the citizen or your county or your district, and we who in majority who you representing, we need a machine. Nobody should go against the machine because we need development. Thank you so much for your show.
Thank you so much. Today's caller, you'll be our last caller. Will cross over to the lawmaker to respond. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, my brother. Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Anthony Sumo. I'm coming from Tokyo. Yeah, why Steve saying the other panel saying that the executive does not inform the legislature before bringing in the air moving machine. For me, I think support what the executive did. Because we inform them, they don't want for any good to come for this government.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So,
want to change this government.
All right. Thank you so much, Chief. So, Steve, I think because of time, we want the lawmaker to respond to the callers.
Yes, most definitely so. Please go ahead.
Okay, so first, let me say thank you to all of the callers for the concerns raised. The issue of these yellow machines being brought in, unbeknownst to the legislature, this is a serious constitutional breach. Howbeit, I will not want to jump the gun. We will wait when the communication, in whatever form and manner they will be presented to the legislature, will be able to address it. But people should not just throw out accusations at the legislature based on propaganda. This yellow machine is a good thing for anybody, especially for me. But Liberia is a country of laws. There will be serious consequences. There people must be held accountable for their action. Other than that, people might start to think different. Because, like I said, this is a serious constitutional breach that might not just turn out good for the executive branch. People need to be held accountable for the actions that they take.
Okay. Well, folks, if you're in the diaspora and you want to place your calls, you already know you can call me. Those of you to interact with the representative, I know he does not have so much time on there. But in the meantime, Melbourne, while we're waiting 1 or 2 calls from here before we can leave the radio, do you have any question, any concern for the representative? I know you did not have the opportunity to ask him during the second rounds. Monk and I were going back and forth with the representative. Do you have any questions or concerns for him?
Well, so like again, I would say all of the questions have been asked, apart from the dangerous issue, which of course I have more interest. But I pray that one of these days he will come back again and I need to talk to all more about the dangerous issue because like I was saying behind the same, so many things that he told me out there, and that was just so interesting. So because of no time, I want him to just at least have the ample time to really close the show from our NEST because we don't want our team, coming back and forth with him. So I don't want him to tell us some of the things before you take leave of us, please.
Yeah, quickly. I have 2 callers. I'll just get in 1 minute each, please.
Okay.
2 callers from the diaspora. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? You have a minute.
TV. This is Dee calling from Rhode Island.
Hey,
How
Dee.
you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, thank you guys for the show as always. One of the callers just called. I was hearing she say that the law. First of all, the Honorable, we thank you for coming on the show, and we thank God for such a day in Liberia that we can see and hear from our lawmaker that deciding on our people and the issues concerning the country. So we want to employ you guys for that. But I want to say this: the callers that are calling, as someone is saying that, regardless of what it should be, bring the machine in the country. We want Liberia to be developed. Just like what I said, it will not be business as usual. Over the past year, our government officials just go down the road to put themselves in a mess and leave the country in higher debt. That kind of suppress us to even develop. So I want to say this to those callers. We just don't want any kind of Kwasa thing in Liberia and any kind of shady thing. If Joseph Walker going to do it, he's going to do it right. And so the lawmaker, you might not let anyone intimidate you. If this government do not follow the law as it is constituted, they should be held accountable. No citizen should intimidate you because Liberia is the rule of law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get a last caller quickly. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? 1 minute.
This is Roland.
Hey, Roland.
I just want to say thank you to the lawmaker in the studio for participation and showing up on the SKTV show. And then considering the yellow machine, just want him to go back and tell his colleague to be very strong because if the legal thing go lightly, next time, the executive will just purchase anything and bring it in the countries. And then the citizen, our people in the country, they don't understand most of these laws on the book. And the last thing I want to tell you, if they can bring back civic in school, it's important because a lot of people now they go to school in Liberia, they don't do civic, so they don't even know how to petty thing in government, the 3 branches of government, how to do that work. So I just want to say thank you to him, and then you shouldn't be a stranger. You should always be on the SKTV.
Thank you, Roland. Representative, you've heard from 2 people in the diaspora. Sorry that we didn't have enough time with people in the diaspora, but how do you react to all of the callers and along with your parting comments? Because I know your statements got to switch.
Yeah, so the issue of this yellow machine, I want to start out with that.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that's serious. It's a serious violation to our constitution. It is the overlook of the first branch of government that is charged with the responsibility of improving and rectifying instruments in order to acquire certain amount of assets. We think if this goes on without the necessary checkpoints being erected, we set as a for more to come. Like I said, if this thing should be allowed to pass, there will be actions that will be required to be taken because it might have something in as much as we need the right thing. You cannot be pushing one thing, you are advocating for the rule of law, and you be the one to still be breaking the law and pushing it and throwing a slap in the face of the Liberian people. It's not because they are hungry and they are yearning for this thing. It means that you should preach the law in any way. It will not pass as it is. We will not accept it. Secondly, the issue of drugs in Liberia, we try to appeal ourselves to continue to create awareness, inform our people. Because people don't even know that there exists a amended drug law that has special punishment and for a lot of things. And so we will be advocating that the laws be published. I think that we are working along with our partners to see.
Oh, sorry, I think sorry for the break there. I think they're trying to do the switch.
Yeah,
Get it ready.
back to the studio. Yep.
Yeah, so that we can he can give his closing or his patent comment here. Monk, what say you so far? Because I mean, very interesting.
For me, Steve, the whole thing about this yellow machine will just be looking up to our lawmaker to see how they will approach this issue because it's a very dedicated situation. It's more of a precedent here. And if the lawmaker is saying that they are leaning towards the idea of a loan and the executive choose to do this in reverse, there is something like it's not only a disregard for the Constitution, it's also like a blatant disrespect to lawmakers, and they are about it. So the fact here is if you want to make the case that is a loan, whether it's the terms and conditions of the loan and who's providing, who is financing this particular deal, these are legitimate questions to ask. But the way manner in which our lawmaker is going to address this thing, it could set a precedent into the future. That's people concerned because it means if they let this thing to slide, anybody can just go anywhere and pick up any trash and come and say, you know what, there's a loan, finance this project, and the taxpayer will be the one to carry the burden. That is the thing. So it's not about whether we need development or some people say, okay, the machines are in the country, but we should prioritize the development or the law. Is the precedent that is being set. Because if these guys will walk scot-free with this, then trust me, there will be bigger deals that will be in terms of cost that will come after this. And our lawmaker, they will be held hostage from what I'm looking at. So the Liberian people are watching them and we'll see the decision that they will make. For me, I believe that the executive know what they are doing. They know they got an envelope. They know that they will make an offer that these guys will not reject. But we will see who got spun. That's why I told Chairman Billy a couple of days ago. I said, yeah, we know they are opposition to this move, but the question is, how many of you guys are there? How many soldiers we got on the front line to stop this? And I don't believe there are too much of them. And when the money is there, and think about this, Steve, just think about this 1 second, right? They've been putting on financial diet. They've been holding certain benefits. So you must know that most of the lawmakers, they're already running out of cash, right? They say funds are not available. They're not getting that regular benefit that they should be getting. You think that the executive was to come and pitch that their brown envelope, those guys are going to refuse it after being held on the sideline in terms of a financial diet for all these months? You want to believe that they will? Yeah, there will be few that will reject it, but I'm saying in terms of a group, in terms of a block or a caucus, I don't think there are too many of them that will be able to stop this. So at the end of the day, the executive is most likely to have their will in the yellow machine deal. That's my assessment. I could be wrong, but who knows?
For one of the very first time, I would disagree with you. Yeah, I'm throwing my hat in here for the picture. Okay. I believe they're looking at the bigger picture, and I believe that this time around they will muster the courage to stand up for the Liberian people because that's what they were elected to do. Yeah, no, do we have the representative on to finish his thought? Oh, he left? Maybe we can hear you.
Yeah, I think maybe saying that he left. Maybe the time ran out.
Yes, you go already. But he said you going to reschedule. Maybe they'll come back because most of them you want to talk about the drugs issue because, like I was saying, there are a lot of things that you were really talking about our borders, how our borders are all vulnerable. You know, so many things actually on the first. And I just like the way he showed up today and his interaction was really good. And I hope and pray that we will always bring on sometime to get some of the education.
Yeah, he speak a lot today, and you are positive with a lot because so I guess people want him back on the show.
I have a caller here, so let me see if I can take this caller really quick, guys. If you guys don't mind, maybe it's okay for me to take this caller real quick, right? Yes, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Wanda Freeman. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Hey, Wanda, go ahead, please. What's your take?
Okay, good. So I followed the legislator comments, and I was happy that he was forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few things I want to say. The first thing is, I don't think writing a letter and not succeeding is sufficient. The biggest problem with the House is accountability. And they have to go beyond and push until that House is audited. Because I have done a computation between 2006 to now, there have been at least $800 million spent by the House without audit. This is catastrophic. And that's why the House keeps producing millionaires. The other thing I want to say is, how many violations does it take for impeachment proceedings to be brought against the president? Because the president violated the PPCC law, he violated the bringing in $20 million, spending $20 million without approval. He violated the Supreme Court decision by making a decision undermining the Supreme Court. So I don't know. Maybe he's there. He's in the House. I want to know how many violations, because our computer is more than a dozen violations. And now, because no action has been taken, he's brave enough to go and commit Liberia to more than $30 million or between $10 to $50 million. And and coming to impose it on the Liberian people. So I want you to explain how many violations does it take for impeachment proceedings to be brought against a president.
Thank you so much.
Wow, that's a tough question there.
Well, the question can be answered very simply and easy. That I would not go that far to push them because I do not believe in my wildest dream
that you can get an impeachment from those guys.
You can get an impeachment for the president from those guys.
Especially two-thirds majority.
The president's immediate deputy, not even immediate deputy, squandered 22 million. They say they forgave him. The legislature did not play what? They're not church, they're not spiritual hall, they're not religious play what people forgive people. That thing when they talk about temple mercy with justice and all they wanted, those are all means and ways to not do their job. That's it. So it's far-fetched. I know there are some people that will have the guts to write that, but I challenge the Speaker of the House to pick it up. Normally will not take it to the floor, and the reason she will not take it to the floor because she is compromised. And that's a fact. So they will not muster the courage to do that. But they have the right to do it though. They can impeach Joseph Boakai. In fact, that's what they should be doing. If they were serious, that's what they should be doing. But how many of them will do it?
That's a question. How many soldiers they got on the front line?
So that is the question. Jameer Moore, I will delete your comment. If you ever write any more F word here, then you have to go. Please don't do that. We don't do that on here, please. We don't use curse words on here, please. Please and please. So I don't know if that will happen, but I think in my honest view, if they were real serious for you, that is something that should be already on the floor discussing. The fact that the machine showed up in the country, up until now they have no head, no tail, and the government passing around.
Because Steve and President Monk and our people, let me be frank, You know, there's no way they can easily negotiate for things that are already into your possession. How are you going to negotiate? Who's going to
Yes.
even listen to you? So I'm still finding it difficult
To
for the
understand that
lower house
portion,
to
right?
even, or maybe for the house to even get any information, because the executive already have the equipments or some of the equipments already in their possession. So what are you going to discuss?
Yeah, and the thing about it, they defiantly did this disrespectfully. They did it, and so at the end of the day, the question becomes, what would the legislator do? And Monk, you made a great point, and I want to let me acknowledge that point before maybe we close for the day. This is a litmus test for you guys, the legislature. After this, Joseph Boaga and his men will walk on you guys like trash. That means if you agree to this, the legislature is dead. That's all. Yeah, don't forget it. Legislator can even on a job family, the legislator have voice. These guys are pushing the envelope, and they're pushing it to the highest. They're stretching it right in your faces. They say you're nothing. They don't need you for any approval. They don't need you to do anything. "Quote unquote" for development. It was never for development. This is never for development. This is serious. But again, it boils in your court. But one thing I know from that American's write-up,
yeah,
this is serious.
You know something that the rest of the lawmakers are not aware of.
And I say you can play your labyrinth politics, you can do your thing, you collect your small money.
Yeah.
The rest is show from that writing that American did today.
Yeah. Supreme Court and sanctions, he knows exactly what's going on. Maybe some of them are aware, but they're not brave enough to say it. But he can smell blood in the water. He know. If that's why I keep asking, I gave him the 3 conditions. If this thing was a gift, matter of fact, it would still be a violation. If you say it was a sign-up bonus, then it means Liberia should be giving something in exchange, maybe like a Wologisi Mountain or some kind of a concession agreement. But if you're telling me it's a loan, then it means somebody must have financed this particular agreement. Then it means the same Sunday group and this South African guy name will always be attached. So if a guy like Amara, who sat in this position before in the executive branch as finance minister, saying you're talking about a constitutional storm between the Supreme Court and sanction, then he knows something is not right about this deal. And maybe that's why the government is slow walking to even say confirm whether it's a gift, whether it's a sign of bonus, or if it's a loan. Because even if it is a loan, let's just say best case scenario on the side of the government that there was a loan, how do you bring the money into the country while you say negotiating loans? Because you got to make the contact with the investor. You bring the agreement to the lawmaker. Lawmaker look at you and say, you know what, maybe this in the interest of bring people, we can now finance this particular loan agreement. Maybe the interest rate is too high. They got to negotiate it and rectify it, right? But in this case, the executive defiantly brought the machine in the country fresh. Never happened before in the history of Liberia. Very unprecedented. And that's the precedent they want to set moving into the future. So if our lawmaker crumbles, then you can get the entire country goodbye by the entire administration. Because then there is no need to have lawmakers in the country. If this deal goes through, that's exactly what it means. Because it never happened before.
Most definitely so. Most definitely so, Mark. And they're taking it for a joke. But guess what? He who laughs last the best. And so we'll be saying that we're laughing. And just how you did it, Ayololo bosses. It will be more than that. Today I see someone there, Amara Kone and this, Amara Kone and that. Y'all have no clue. And you're so ungrateful. But I don't blame you. I blame the Amara Kone and other people who made themselves available to you for you to use them and be ungrateful to them. They don't. Now they see Amara Kone y'all are healing yet. Then they see Amara Kone now in your chat room that was the what you call
the data analyst hero.
Yeah, then they see Amara Kone.
Yeah, he
Then
won
they
the
see
election.
Joseph Boaga, upon being elected, then they see Amara Kone that brought him to America. And they went to DC to have meeting. Amara Kone was in the meetings. Amara Kone was there. Not only that, we have picture evidences. Then they see Amara Kone.
You when they went to sew their suit, he had a tape rule, right? The measurement, right? But
the truth about it, I'll say to you, Mom, it's sweet for Amara Kone and other people. We told them that these people are ungrateful. They're not a group of people that you can work with. For them, anything they do, it got to be about lie. It got to be about deception. There is no truth about them. And this is the issue with them. They are not truthful to themselves. They're not truthful to anybody. They're not. So, I mean, we'll see how this plays out. But I'm glad we said it on the show. We said there will be sanctions. We said there will be consequences for those criminal acts, and these things are traced. We don't say things here because we hate government or because we hate somebody. Yeah, America confirming it. You'll see. And the senators who went to Ghana for the negotiation of the deal, you're part of it. You remember one of the very first person we talk about on SKTV when Joseph Boakai won. One of the very first person that was mentioned was Joseph Boakai's son. We told him that he would end up worse than Chucky Taylor. And we talk about him here. When he started collecting money from Lebanese people and they started doing all kind of funny things before Joseph Boakai could even be inaugurated, when they started putting things in place. Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see what's up. But like you said, I agree with you 100% that American knows what's up. He's smelling something.
Yeah.
And he wants to be on record and he wants to make sure
you want to be part of it,
You want to send signal and clear you can say, I warn y'all, I told y'all, and the write-ups are there. So he laid the premise for that. Not only that, he's sending signal to his men too in the Senate and other people then too and say, gentlemen, you're clear out of the thing. You'll stay up. You don't put yourself inside. You remember, anyway, we're not going to detail. Tomorrow we'll be back. We'll digest some of these things in detail. We didn't even get to go into Boima Kamara's resignation and so forth. Let me say it again. Let me say it to you on the show. Boima Kamara did not resign only because he was sick. That's true. That's true. That's true. And with the story of Kawasa, the real noise behind Kawasa, we told you can lie. You can use propaganda to win elections. You can use lies and propaganda to govern. Monk, what is your parting comment? What say you before we leave?
Man, my parting comment is same for the day. We will be here tomorrow, hopefully. I think the lawmaker here is grand. He gave the details. He came with his facts. There are a lot of positive reading for the lawmaker today on the show. He was so cool, calm, and collective in answering his question. And we would like to see him on this show more often than not. I mean, when it comes to giving the Liberian people the information that they need, this is not politics. It's just about good governance, or about the country moving forward and people that are in public office to do the right thing at the end of the day. That's just why. Whether it's in American or whether you are on the rescue train, whether you're from CDC, whether you are independent, at the end of the day, you got to be able to separate the thing that affects you the most as opposed to always playing politics. There will always be time for politics in Liberia. So everything cannot be about politics. And we are faced with this whole yellow machine. Yesterday, I laid a premise concerning some of the repercussions of this debt and loan that what people keep taking without knowing the retribution from these things. You look at your entire budget of 730 million that you will not even raise to even get. There will be a budget short for most likely. Matter of fact, with 6 months into the budget year, or state-owned enterprise are not even making remittances to the government coffers. They're running their own bureaucracy within their own league. I mean, think about that. So if you are going to spend 129 million just on interest payment on the debt per year, this year, can you imagine, Steve? Think about that. Do you know how much 129 million could do for Liberia? What is about building roads, school, running water, electricity? That's why you'll be paying in interest payment, because reckless leaders come, they take on this exorbitant amount of loan that will cost you years, if not decades, to pay for. And the money that is being allocated for your own improvement as a citizen, you're talking about 57.8 million, but yet the interest payment you'll be paying for 2024 alone is 129 million. Think about that. And you talk about machine. You don't consider that. But anyway, we'll stop there for today. We'll talk every day, man. We won't get tired. We're here.
Thank you so much, Monk. Folks, let's have a good new week. Stay blessed. Stay out of trouble. That being said, this is how we bring the curtain down for today. Against this backdrop.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We judge it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Monitor people who willing to sell. Blessing, assignment, and efforts are rest. The project is giving us